Okay, so we're going to talk a little bit more about parallelograms. So there are some special types of parallelograms. So if you remember, a parallelogram is a quadrilateral that has of two pairs of parallel sides. So a parallelogram has two pairs of opposite sides that are parallel. So this side and this side are opposite and they're parallel to each other. Same thing, this side and this side are opposite and they're parallel to each other. And they're also congruent, meaning that they have the same length. The opposite sides are the same length. All right, so that's a parallelogram. We have some special types of parallelograms. The first type of parallelogram that you might be very familiar with is a rectangle. A rectangle is a type of parallelogram that has four right angles. So rectangles have four right angles. Every one of the angles here on our parallelogram is a right angle, which means it measures 90 degrees, 90 degrees, 90 degrees, 90 degrees. So every rectangle is also a type of parallelogram. It's a special parallelogram that has four right angles. So every rectangle is a parallelogram that has four right angles. Remember, right angle is 90 degrees. So rectangles, you can see the opposite sides, just like a parallelogram, the opposite sides are the same length, and they're also parallel to each other. All right, that's a rectangle. It is a parallelogram that has 90-degree angles on all of its angles. Another type of a parallelogram is called a rhombus. So this might be a new word for you. I don't know if we've talked about rhombuses in other years. Might have talked about a little bit last year, but a rhombus is a parallelogram with four congruent sides. So you'll see there's no right angles here necessarily, but all of the sides, all four sides are equal. For our rhombus, all four sides are equal. So as I look at this, every one of these sides is the same length. So it's a parallelogram with four congruent sides. So this side, this side, this side, and this side are all equal. Four equal sides. That's a rhombus, a parallelogram with four congruent or equal sides. Every side is equal. That's our rhombus. Every side is equal. Same thing. This side, and this side, and this side are all the same length. The last type of parallelogram that we have to talk about is a square. A square is a special type of parallelogram. It has four congruent sides, just like a rhombus does, four congruent sides, and it has four right angles, just like a rectangle. So a square is a very special type of parallelogram because it's a parallelogram. It's a rectangle because it has four right angles, and it's a rhombus because it has four congruent sides. So a square is a parallelogram with four congruent sides and four right angles. So a square could be a parallelogram, it could be a rhombus, it could be a rectangle, and it also is a square. All right, so it fits into all of those categories. Okay, so square is very, very special. It fits in all of those categories. But when we name a parallelogram, we want to use the most specific that we can. So this we would call a square because it has all of those characteristics. Okay, it has, oh, this is not a good marker. It has four equal sides and four right angles. Okay, so I have my equal sides, and I have right angles on every corner. So this is a square, four equal sides, four right angles. A rhombus would only have four equal sides. A rectangle would only have four right angles, but a square has both of those qualities. All right, so again, let's go over our parallelograms that we talked about. Parallelogram, both pairs of opposite sides are parallel to each other, and both opposite sides are equal to each other. Next, we would have a rectangle. where both sides are parallel to each other, opposite sides are still equal length, but we also have 90-degree angle. A rhombus is still a parallelogram. The opposite sides are parallel to each other, and the opposite sides are equal length, but in fact, all four sides are equal length. It doesn't necessarily have to have a right angle. If it does, if they're equal length and it has a right angle, we would say it's a square. A square is a type of parallelogram that has four equal sides and four right angles. All right, so all of those fit together. So I just want to show you one more page. We have all of our quadrilaterals that we've talked about, right? So we have our quadrilaterals. We could put them into, quadrilateral doesn't fit into any group. We could fit them into parallelograms or into trapezoids. Remember, parallelograms have two sets of parallel sides, and trapezoids have one set of parallel sides, and then there's special parallelograms. There's rhombuses, and there are rectangles, and there's a square that has traits of both rectangles and rhombuses.